Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Wednesday, December 20th. I hope all of you are enjoying all your holiday festivities. I know they can be stressful. We're here to ease that and give you all the fun comedy as we bring all the craziness as well. If you're watching sports right now, we have a lot to talk about, including Ja Morant coming back after gun suspension and a lot of other issues, all the way down to football. Even a golfer was arrested, back in action, and invited to play in the PGA Tour. Before we do that and go into all the craziness, let's welcome the main event, and you guys know we got to do it. My co-host, the guy we love, the guy that looks like he might be 18 or 40, and now they're saying he's older than that, which is crazy. Also, he looks like Seth Rogen, the guy who produced Superbad and played in Pineapple Express, the guy that knows all the tips and tricks and all the stats. And more importantly now, people are saying he has a face for radio. Let that sink in, guys. Let's introduce and welcome again our co-host, my right-hand man, Brent Chapman.
Hey, all right.
Happy introduction.
That was quite an introduction. Have you ever considered potentially being like a WWE ring announcer?
Yes.
Yeah, you got the voice. That's good. I like it.
You know what? I'd much rather have the voice for the WWF than the face for radio.
I gotta tell you, yeah, that's right. I'm actually a little nervous today. I was hiding under the desk. You posted my Pittsburgh Steelers comments from yesterday on YouTube, and I'm just ready for the shellacking I'm gonna get from whiny Steelers fan.
Guys, listening first time watch, remember like and subscribe. We're getting ready to expand the show. It's Christmas season, all the holiday cheer. We have a lot of things. Also have a special gift to some of you guys also. But listen, let's dive into this, Brent. I know people that are watching basketball yesterday. If you're watching this for the first time, we're diving into basketball, football, baseball, hockey, golf, everything. Shout outs live at the show also, and a call-in phase that's coming. But Brent, let's pull this up real quick to show. Ja Morant comes back after suspension, flashing guns on social media again. Comes back, and this is what he does, right? Walk us through this. What are you seeing from Ja Morant? What did he do coming back? Hits a game winner.
Yeah, he had a 34-point, 8-assist, 6-rebound night, rallying from a 19-point deficit to win with that floater at the buzzer after being out for 25 games.
I mean, everybody was talking about Ja Morant for a while. Ja Morant's so good. And I saw his talent, obviously. And then I'm like, okay, then he got a little scuff on the court, a little arguments. I'm like, this guy's building in social media, but in the wrong way. And then it's flashing guns on social media, which I hope YouTube doesn't say, hey, you can't say that. I'm not trying to, advocate to this or be a brand for this or sell this. I'm just saying he's flashing guns on social media, on story posts, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, doesn't really matter. He's doing that and immediately suspended. What do you think that is? Is that something that I won't want to say a cry for help. The guy has a lot of money, right, Brent? What do you think about that? Why is he doing that? Why is he flashing guns on social media?
Because he's a little immature at this point, right? I think that's the one thing when you meet a lot of professional athletes, you notice one thing in common with most of them. They're incredibly mature for their age. That has been the most shocking experience that I've had. And I think that when something like this Ja Morant happens, he's still acting like he doesn't make millions of dollars, like he's not a celebrity and he's just hanging out with the boys, and he's making bad decisions. And his celebrity and the attention that he has, normally no one would care, but he's Ja Morant and people care.
Agreed.
And the disappointing thing, Brandon, about it is he got the 8-game suspension, and, people are like, all right, we got to have a talk with him. We got to mentor him. We got to work him through this. He's a young kid. Then, within 2 months, he's smoking a blunt and flashing a gun again on social media.
Here's the thing, and you said this, but a lot of these super talented individuals come from backgrounds that have rougher crowds, right? We could say that the politically correct way for YouTube and live stream. It's a rougher crowd a lot of the times, whether it's football, basketball, and other sports. These guys are so talented. And I'm not saying because he waved a gun on social media, that's a rough crowd. I'm just saying you bring your boys with you, your background, You're having fun. I don't know what that had to pertain to, but like you said, this is something where it's not a cry for help or anything like that. It's just a matter of maturity, making good decisions. And when you're playing in the NBA, when you're playing in the NFL and other sports, I keep naming those two because we talk about them the most, you're young and you get an opportunity to play amongst millions of people globally, not just in the U.S., globally. You're making a lot of money. You're traveling around state to state, and now even in football, international games, right? Everybody's watching you. You have a bullseye on your back. If you're watching this, you're in high school, you're in college, you're a young pro. Everybody knows who you are. Ja Morant is not the typical guy working on your car, not knocking him, but he's not the guy pushing the grocery car or walking around Home Depot. This guy walks into a store or a Walmart, he's gonna get bombarded. So everybody's watching your social media post, your stories, whatever you do, it's gonna be on SportsCenter tomorrow and you're gonna have a problem. Other people can wave a gun and move on with their life. Ja Morant can't do that.
Yeah, here's my thing. I think that Ja Morant would be best served if he, found himself a mentor to really help him. And I speak from experience, having also helped mentor professional athletes as well, right?
You're saying he needs to find one, or are you saying that he doesn't already have one?
He needs to find one if he doesn't have one,
or a new one.
Maybe he does. They're saying that he's improved and he's been acting better, and that's great. But here's the thing that I want to say. Out of all the NBA players that I've watched in recent memory, I think Ja Morant is one of my favorite to watch. He's so electrifying and so exciting, and my kids love Ja Morant. Here is proof. You see this? You've got your little bobblehead, Brandon. I have my Ja Morant.
Hey, I got my guy right here for you, just in case you got some shit to pop off today. Just in case you got something to say, Brent, I'm coming for you.
Ja is going head to head with Brandon bobblehead.
Oh, you got Ja Morant bobblehead. Is crazy. Turn that man around. Is he even looking straight?
I feel for these guys, and I really want him to be successful. He is so immensely talented. You want to see him succeed. You want to see players like this succeed. But you know what, man? It's on him. He's gotta realize it, and he's got to make it happen.
Listen, speaking of basketball drama, okay, it's been in the news. This has been going on now for days, maybe for a week. But this is basketball drama, Brent, at its finest. Let's move on. Anthony Edwards. Now listen, if you guys haven't seen this yet, serving in the media, this is interesting. Okay, Anthony Edwards makes so much money. He's living the dream in the NBA. And the girl you're seeing in the photo has put several Twitter and tweets up about her being pregnant, having a baby. Now, I can tell you this. Any guy that's having a baby, I know what it's like, okay? Come from experience. It's stressful. You find out, oh my God, this is, you go through so many of these emotions in your head, but this woman here was basically coming to him saying, look, we're having a baby, and he's like, no, we're not. How much does it cost to get rid of this situation? Now, I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying women can't decide what they want to do, and I'm not saying people shouldn't make their own decisions before anybody gets all crazy, because that will happen too. I'm not saying that they shouldn't make their own family decisions, their own family values. That's wonderful. But literally in those Twitter messages, he was telling her, look, you can talk to my attorney about this. I mean, the relationship went out the window. It was like, look, my attorney's going to handle this. And then they had this agreement, right, where he would send her a lump sum of money, which has been proven because she put it all over social media, and I would do that and show you this message, but I won't do it this time just for his own privacy and concerns and issues, and I don't want to get flagged for that. But send her, supposedly, a wire transfer of $100,000. How many women now are seeing this, right? There's already gold diggers and girls that are chasing, jersey chasers and all kinds of things. But now, if the word isn't out, which I'm sure it has been for a long time, you can go chase down one of these NBA players, and the new bar now is $100,000 because Anthony Edwards sent her a wire transfer and said, here you go. And then, before you even talk about this, Brent, I'm hearing now reports that he has another girl pregnant right now. at the same time. What do you think about that?
He needs to call Wilt Chamberlain and figure out what he did.
I mean,
maybe that
he's got
wasn't
the money
a good
to
example.
take care of the baby, but
yeah. So, first of all, if you see these tweets, there's one where she sends the pregnancy test and says, "I have an appointment on the 27th." And you see in those movies where the guys react wrong to hearing about the pregnancy and the wife or the girlfriend gets mad. His response was, "Hell nah, you can't do this." I mean, like, is that not one of the all-time worst sort of reactions?
Hey, listen, I'm worried right now.
Here's my advice on this situation.
Wait, Brent, wait. I'm worried right now because you said that, and as soon as you said that, all of a sudden we get tons of feedback from the peanut gallery and the production side. I mean, I don't know. The production guys in the back laughing at this, Brent. I am freaking concerned right now.
Howard, is that one of the worst reactions to "I'm pregnant"? Hell nah.
Listen, it's certainly not a good one. No.
I want Howard to focus on the media production of this show right now. And he's hearing hell no. He's looking for a drink. So I'm a little concerned right now, Brent.
It was not hell no. It was hell no. N-A-W.
Hell no. Well, listen. Apparently, Howard appreciated that, Brent.
So what I wanted to say about Anthony Edwards is this. Welcome to the legal trouble edition of the Brandon Mason Show. We've got you got Ja Morant. We're not even to Rashad Mendenhall yet.
But wait. Listen, people watch this right now. There's a lot to hear. I mean, there's a lot coming up right now. Every single team, there's been a lot of problems, but legal problems and things that we're saying that has been outlandish. And we'll get to that in a second when you see Rashad Mendenhall and at the bottom of today's hit list.
Yeah,
but Brent, finish up.
So I want to say this about Anthony Edwards. Again, like Ja Morant, I feel for the guy. Another really talented guy. Obviously, he starred in a movie, right? And was a high number 2 overall draft pick, I think, if not number 1. And just a really extreme talent, again, much like Ja Morant. And here's something that my son goes to a lot of camps and is a high performing youth athlete, and they talk over and over again about be careful what you share on social media. Be careful what you put in text messages. Everything you say and do in 2023 will end up on something, on a blog.
Or will show up in 2030.
Assume that everything you say will be seen and heard by somebody else. And so, I'm not going to comment about the situation or Edwards, what he said, other than the hell no was pretty funny. But he just needs to be a lot more careful. Again, like Ja Morant, he's a celebrity. He has a lot of money and a lot of, like you said, people are going to be coming after him, and he needs to be more intelligent and get better advice on what he's doing.
Hey, these girls are coming after him like the Steelers fans are coming after you. Like flies on shit for every comment you make. We're going to move on to the Pistons. Brent, listen. This is a concern.
Here we go.
The Pistons are losing game after game after game after game to hit a record. What do you got about that, Brent?
So for those that don't know, I went to high school in Detroit, which means one of my teams that I
live feed too.
watched and followed and liked as a kid were the Pistons. So they have lost 24 games in a row. That is now currently fourth all-time worst losing streak.
24 games in a row.
Yes, and the record, by the way, is 28. So they're like spitting distance away from the worst. And
they're holding on for dear life.
Brandon, here's what's bad. If you start a losing streak mid-season, your record looks like 10 and like maybe, a lot of losses. But when you start your losing streak at the beginning of the season, they're like 2-30. That looks really bad.
When
here's what I want to say about the Pistons before you weigh in on this. They have a pretty talented core group. They're very young, but Cade Cunningham was the #1 draft pick, and he dropped 48 points the other day in a loss. He's a good player. They've got Jalen Duren, who's another very good player. Azur Thompson is an up-and-coming. I mean, that guy's looking like a defensive unicorn. He's in the conversation for best rookie. So how is a team with this talent, tell us, Brandon, how is a team with this talent lost 24 games in a row?
Listen, some people, some teams cannot hit records for winning championships. So they got to hit records for losing games. And that's exactly what you're seeing. He can get that trophy and go up on a billboard and a plaque, the most losses consecutively. I mean, this is really bad. This is bad not only for players' resume, but your coach. I mean, you're looking at your coach like, hey, we got to get some play. We got to do something. You got to start doing something because we can't hit that record. The minute they go down by that many games consecutively, it's the talk of the town. The coach is gone. That's what you're going to see, right? And a lot of the conversation is kind of like right now leading to some NFL teams. But before we, dive into the NFL, let's move on to Tom Brady. And I have a reason why he's on here. Tom Brady was shown again, obviously, he was on a live stream or on a stream interview, with Stephen A. Smith. Now, Tom Brady is giving all of his input and his insight now all of a sudden on the NFL, and he's weighing in on this, Brent, and he's saying things like this, right? Well, that's not true. That guy shouldn't be suspended for that long. Or that hit wasn't proper. Why did they throw a flag on that? And then he said, was interesting. Quarterbacks should not be throwing passes in these directions, leading their receivers into problems. And I said, you know what? Of all people, Tom Brady probably can say that because the GOAT who's ever played the game, arguably to most people, has put his receivers in great opportunities and positions to win Super Bowls. And he's really just weighing in on game after game and even teams and coaches, and they're going, now, what do you think about the Patriots? I mean, he's looking at the game from a GOAT perspective now, looking at it and giving his full input, different than Peyton Manning and Eli. They're hosting games and talking about what's going on. They could change this. And then Tom Brady is coming out of left field just throwing bombs on the NFL. That's what he's doing right now.
First of all, I think we should have the Brandon Mason show cast instead of the Manning cast. I think we could rock that.
People would love, listen, I love watching Eli and obviously Peyton have tons of experience, great quarterbacks.
But I like
them at all. They're
Pat
boring as
shit.
Doing. Watching them is like adding now, obviously quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence and maybe even Jalen Hurts at this point. They could put all four-corner segment around Monday Night Football and get the lowest ratings in the world because they're just like stone-faced. Like, I love all the quarterbacks.
It was fun the first couple times. Now, I like what Pat McAfee's doing. That's what we need to do, Brandon. They hang out in the end zone. They hang out in the end zone with microphones and just talk about whatever they want. They grab cheerleaders and famous people and whoever walking by and they interview them. It's great. That's a better idea than listening to Eli and Peyton dribble on. But
coming from boring conversation, right? A little boring conversation like those boring quarterbacks. Let's go to the topic that Brent wanted to put on here, and he thought this is important, and I think it's important too, but this is interesting, right? Rashard Mendenhall. Do we have a graphic, Howard, for Rashard Mendenhall? All right.
Oh, there it is.
The Twitter message reads up here, and you can put it on there. Basically what he's saying, Brent, tell him what it says in a nutshell.
Yeah, he says, you can read it on there, I'm sick of average white guys commenting on football. So I think I should just stop there, right? Because I'm
Brent,
a below average white guy counting on football.
But listen, then he proceeded, Brent.
You hear Howard
Howard's in
in the back.
Howard's in the compound going, Should I give my input on this shit or not? I'm just going to be quiet. The Latin
Howard,
guy living in
Howard,
Miami is going to take it easy
I
on that
honestly
one.
think he's saying it right there. Average white guys counting on football. I'm a below average white guy commenting on football with you daily. I don't think I should even weigh in on this. I mean,
The below average white guy with a face for radio. So what else is going on, Brent? Explain the rest of it. What does he say about this game here?
Then he says we should replace the Pro Bowl with an all black versus all white, which obviously I assume is tongue in cheek, but people have ran with this. And JJ Watt's comment is actually sort of a funny response to it, which is we would get cooked. We would get cooked.
But Brent, here's the truth.
Interestingly enough, JJ Watt brings up a good point. The last white cornerback, starting cornerback in the NFL, if this is correct, my Googling is correct, was Jason Sehorn in 2001.
Was he with the Giants or who's he with?
The Giants. He was
I
really,
remember. My facts are right here, Brent. My facts are right here. And if I forget, I'll just ask you. But listen, here's the thing. And at this point, you could just say, hey, Siri. But here's the thing. This is funny to me. And I can tell you my opinion because I'm white and black. I'm 50-50 down the middle. If I ran for president, people couldn't really say shit like, oh, he's racist. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, you're doing it for the white people. Yeah, okay. You're doing it for the black people. No, I'm not. I mean,
you got my vote.
Thing.
You got my vote, Brandon Mason.
Yeah, I got everybody's love and support. Here's the thing, though. Okay, this is where I find this interesting. The truth of the matter, Brent, if I can be very candid, black people, white people, and I want to make sure I say it clear. Don't want to get flagged. Don't want YouTube to go crazy here. There's a lot of talented players in every culture and every dynamic, and you've seen it now. Even I mentioned Samoans are showing up doing things. I mean, over the world, you got people from international sports. Basketball players are coming over, starting. You got Yao Ming playing in the NBA. You got more people coming in. So it's not that. Here's the reality. A lot of sports back in the day, they were predominantly, at first, a lot of them were white. And then black people got a chance to play, and it was like, holy shit, this guy can really run that fast with no training. This guy can jump that high with no training. And it's like, shit, we got to put this guy in the game. And they slowly took over a lot of sports. And when I say took over, I'm talking every sport you turn on. It was like, man, they really are taking over sports, right? African Americans are great, talented people. But here's the truth of reality now. Every single class I've ever been in, from high school to college, right? And then even when I went to the Giants and I had workouts there and I went to the Dolphins, you have a white guy and a black guy on your team that have so much speed, you're like, holy shit, you guys are different than all of us. And there's always, for every one black guy that's so fast, right? There's always that one white guy on your team that is so fast that people are like, he might be the fastest guy on the team. So, I mean, even in track and field, you got a lot of black athletes, and all of a sudden you have that one white guy that's like, this dude's a blazer. Yeah. And so, but that's just talking speed right now. When I get to the athleticism and I get to what I'm seeing on TV, I got to tell you, African Americans have taken over football and basketball at the receiver position. Now they're running into the quarterback slot, right? Look at the quarterbacks now. This is not what it was before, but if you go to the Peyton Mannings of the world, the Eli Mannings, the Tom Bradys, right? And then now the Joe Burrows, Aaron Rodgers, these are white quarterbacks, and they're phenomenal. So I don't think the comparison is good to do. I don't think it's smart to do. And I think it's 2023. People have to wake up. Black people, white people, Hispanic, we're all together in this. And life should be much better than these kind of remarks.
Completely agree with you, Brandon. And I think the thing that I actually love about sports, and one of the reasons I started my NIL pay, is because I love the diversity in sports. That's what makes sport so great, is there is so much diversity. Men, women, white, black, tall, small, whatever it is, right? And people come together in a team environment to achieve goals together. And that's what's so awesome. And making comments like this just doesn't really benefit that, and kind of takes away from what's so awesome about the purity of sports and people working together as a team, regardless of these things. Like, that's what's awesome about sports. I would say that Richard Mendenhall, next time he makes these comments, should really like write out who his teams would be, because I think the mixed team might be the better team. He does realize that Patrick Mahomes is white, right? Just like Brandon Mason, and Josh Jacobs is also Filipino. Did you know that? Right? So there's like he better take inventory on his team, because I don't think it's what he thinks it is. Like,
I'm not going to go into Filipinos because I married someone who's half Filipino.
America is a melting pot, and that's what makes it great. And as generations go on, it just becomes more that that's what's awesome about sports. And I think Richard Mendenhall missed that part of it in his comments.
And you know what? And we're going to move on to the NCAA Bowl. But just to add to that, Brent, I believe you can have a white guy and a black guy can make best of friends. I mean that wholeheartedly. You learn about a new culture, and I don't want to remember the Titans because it's a fantasy world or whatever. This is the truth. A white guy and a black guy, or a white girl and a black girl, could become best of friends. You share different bonds and different levels. So we're going to move on now. Appreciate that part. Let's move on, to the bowl games and the problems right now with players. You get to the bowl games, and we talk about this. You have the top bowl or the top championship games, right? Championship game. And then you have all these bowl games, Brent. And we know, again, we're not going to talk about Florida State. Florida State's going to get all crazy. They didn't make it, and whether they deserved it or not, are better than Michigan, Alabama. But the bowl games in general, there's so many of them. Let me get this graphic up if we have one here.
Are you pulling it back up again?
No, I'm not pulling that.
No,
listen,
where's your big graphic with the toilet bowl and the Dr. Pepper bowl?
the toilet bowl and all these other bowl games that we talked about in the past, Brent. What is the issue right now? What do you think? Players opting out.
Here's the issue, and you and I have talked about this before. There's currently a 4-team playoff. If you're not in that 4-team playoff, then the rest are just basically exhibition games. There's no point in playing, right? So what are potential first, second round, third round draft picks in the NFL going to do? Well, they're not going to risk injury in an exhibition game. So here's what you have so far. USC quarterback, former Heisman winner, Caleb Williams, sitting out the bowl game, healthy scratch. Current Heisman Trophy winner, LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels, sitting out his bowl game. Quarterback Drake May, Notre Dame offensive tackle Joe Alt, Notre Dame quarterback Sam Hartman, even Florida State receiver Johnny Wilson. Some of the best players in college football are not playing in the bowl games unless they're in that 4-team playoff, because it's not worth the injury risk. And you know what? They're right. Because here's the thing. It is an exhibition game. If it is,
you get nothing from it.
Nothing. Dude, coaches leave before these games. They take new jobs and go. These are like nice little exhibition games at the end of the season.
Yep.
And that's why it's incredibly smart to expand to a 12-team playoff. Because guess what's going to happen? That's going to be 12 teams now where the players are not going to leave early.
They're all going to play. They're all going to make more money. The coaches are going to make more money in a 12 game. And let me be clear. What Brent is saying is, if you're just joining in now or watching this, in the NCAA, all the bowl games are not the championship games. The bowl games that they create, like, I'm going to name some. I'm not saying that they're in the top or not. I'm just giving an example, like the Fiesta Bowl and the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl. These are all great things. The games that are further down the road, right, that are coming up, the Continental Tire Bowl, which I said before, and then we're going to have the Brandon Mason Show Bowl, right? And then we're going to have, we're going to have the Face for Radio Bowl. And these bowl games, these players are opting out of going to the game because it's an exhibition. What's the point of getting injured before I potentially get drafted into the NFL? So all these marketing people are making all the, creating all these opportunities, spending all this money. They're giving all these gifts and presents, and every single player, when I was in this position, flying out to Arizona and all, you get these gifts. They give you iPods, and when I was in, then they give you PlayStations and Xboxes and controllers and headphones, all these gifts and money they give you to travel. So we'll give you like $2,000 or $3,000, and you go, and it costs you $700 for your tickets. You keep all that money too, which is great. But some of the players are going, I'm not playing. What do you guys think of that? Obviously, I wonder what you guys think. If you're watching this for the first time, hit the like button, subscribe, because this is an important conversation. What should they do? Obviously, making big changes, Brent, next year, going to 12 games. I think I agree with you. That will change all that. So let's move on to something very interesting for a lot of people. And I got to tell you, I am not in no way, shape, or form a big-time golfer. I have a golf set in my garage that is leaning over, basically attached to my water heater, growing spider webs at this point because I haven't used them. They keep getting transport, but my golf set looks like I'm Tiger Woods. If you see my golf set, Brent, you're going to think that you want me on your team. And just a quick story before we bring up the main topic here. I went golfing with a gentleman on Fisher Island in Miami, one of the most exclusive places in the world. It's per capita, the most, I guess, the highest capital per capita per person. And I was invited by guys that were 70, 80 years old. They picked me, of all people, on their team.
You must have looked really good in your pants, your Nike golf pants, your Nike tight-fitting polo showing off your biceps.
I showed up ready to ball out, okay?
You must have been to the nines, bro.
My looked like, listen, I'm game time. But this is what happened, okay? I get on the course, and I start driving these balls, and they're like, I'm so glad you're here because we're playing best ball. I said, wonderful, wonderful. So just in case you guys watch this right now, I'm driving the ball, okay? And they are so pumped about that. We get to the next step, and they're looking at me like, go. And I'm like, I need to know what club to use. Like, what club do we use right now? I don't know what to use. So they point at my clubs, use this one. I believe in you. Brent, the look on their face when I hit the next shot, I turned around. The guy he wasn't in a wheelchair. He was on one of these little things you can kind of push and like walk around. And he was hitting it all awkward. And he looked at me and he goes, bro, you effing suck. I was like, bro, you're 80 years old. Like, calm the hell down. I got this. Anyway, long story short, I suck at golf. I'm good at the drive. Let's move. Let's pull the graphic up. Explain this.
I'm glad that we on the Brandon Mason show can talk about golf also. So, two-time major champion Angel Cabrera. He is now 54 years old. You've probably heard of him before. He won the U.S. Open in 2007 and the Masters in a playoff in 2009. So this is not some schlub. He was arrested. Again, the legal edition of the Brandon Mason show.
Everybody's getting arrested.
He was arrested for assault and spent 2 years in prison. He is now on parole from an Argentine prison. And guess what the PGA Tour says? Come on back, Angel. You can golf again.
Listen,
so he's back on tour. Let's go, Angel.
This is like the NFL where they bring in Joe Flacco at 40 years old because they can't find anybody else to golf in the world. They get a guy who's in jail for 2 years. Let's roll. Hasn't seen his golf because his set looks like mine.
Let's be honest, though, Brandon, winning the Masters is a pretty exclusive club. And I actually think your Joe Flacco analogy is right on because winning a Super Bowl and being a Super Bowl MVP is also a pretty exclusive club. So much like winning a Super Bowl as a quarterback, Joe Flacco, Angel Cabrera won a Masters. That's a huge deal.
But Brent,
and so they're like, yeah, come on back, Angel. Beat up whoever you want. Let's go. We need you on the court.
But let's be real, Brent. Watching football, watching the NFL, especially college football, the NFL, the NBA, these other sports, hockey's entertaining, especially with the fights and all the craziness going on. Is golf boring? I mean, listen, I'm calling it like it is. Great sport. It's boring to watch on TV. I can see the wind blowing, Brent. I'm seeing the grass blades. They have camera angles showing the grass and the turf, and it's so pretty. The only thing I can think in my head when I'm watching golf, realistically, is how can I put that in my backyard?
So, Brandon,
I don't have any other reason. And Howard, look at Howard's face. Look at Howard's face talking about golf. Doesn't give a rat's ass, Brent. I got to tell you, golf is...
No, I'll tell you who Howard's favorite golfer is. Happy Gilmore when he beat up Bob Barker.
That's the only golfer that Howard even knows is Happy freaking Gilmore.
Yeah, probably. Well, now Brandon Mason. We'll see. We'll see who.
Brent, I challenge you to a golf. Listen, I have a funny feeling that you could be a good golfer, but then I look at you and I go, nah.
You can probably see by these guns, I'm not exactly the 300-yard drive, but I'm a very steady 85 yards down the fairway.
Howard, he's a very steady
any club.
Howard, he is a very steady golfer sitting there on his couch watching Tiger Woods golf. That is exactly what Brent is going to do. But anyway, listen, guy's arrested, gets out, and is invited to play. I mean, it's pretty good. You got to give it to him.
I don't know if it's great for the PGA, but, this is where we're at in 2023.
Let's move on. Hey, listen, I love what we're doing. This is the time, and Howard is responsible for watching this right now when we will have the live stream lineup for people to call in and talk crap to Brent. And also to Howard now. You can talk shit to Brent or Howard, not to me, because I'm your host and I'm the great guy. And these people here, you can talk shit to them. But on top of that, here's the time. Listen, I appreciate that, bobblehead. But here's the time.
Wait, I can't. There we go.
Here is what I got to say. Shout out to my dad. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday. 58 years old. Back in Pennsylvania.
Birthday.
Love you, Dad. I know you watch this. I appreciate you. Really, really appreciate all things you've done in my life. Thankful. Love you. And I will see you soon. I know you're going to have a good holiday as well. So happy birthday to my pops. Awesome.
So, Brandon, are you getting your dad a birthday cake with Brandon Mason popping out of it?
A Brandon Mason show is gonna pop out like this, and it's gonna have me holding your bobblehead like this.
By the way, if you didn't watch yesterday's show, please go back and watch the end, because Brandon's comment when I made the same comment about my sister's birthday was, "Yeah, now that's a birthday." That's one of the best comments ever.
You know what, guys? I have so much fun doing this. I love all you guys watching. Remember, if you're on this now, hit the like button. We really appreciate you and subscribe, and by all the other people that you know that would enjoy all the comedy and entertainment in the morning as we get ready to expand the show. We're very excited. We welcome other people and networks to talk to us as well, as we've been getting a lot of action, emails, and messages. Brent, thanks for having you today on the show. Every day, 10 a.m., my right-hand man, Brent Chapman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for tuning in to the Brandon Mason Show. We love to have you every day at 10 a.m. to 10:30-ish, and we will be expanding to 11 o'clock. At the end of our show, you'll be able to call in live as we get ready to produce that. And remember to have safe travels during your holiday, and until next time.